Okay, I want to read to you today from Maria Simma's book again. Get us out of here. And this is a message. These are messages from the Holy Souls themselves. Here's a picture in front of you of a Holy Latin Mass. I myself go to Latin Mass. I prefer the Latin Mass, and I believe it's the true Mass. The Novus Ordo Mass, I don't want to get into it, but it's really a distortion of the true Mass. Okay, at the Latin Mass, Jesus is the priest. There's no co-celebrants. You don't touch the Eucharist with your hands because you're not worthy. Your hands aren't consecrated, only the priest. I know what the church allows, but I'm just saying this is the reasoning of the traditionalists. And we kneel when we receive communion unless you cannot if you're infirm. The Latin Mass is incredibly powerful. And in my opinion, the evil forces on the earth want to destroy this Mass because it's powerful. That's the reason. Okay? If it was useless, they wouldn't be arguing about it. They wouldn't care about it. Right? There are certain religions that are never persecuted. But it seems like Catholicism is persecuted all the time. I wonder why. I wonder why. Because it causes demons to go screaming all over the place. They can't stand it. I wonder why. Well, I'll let you think about that. Now, this is called About the Infinite Value of a Single Mass. Why aren't the words sacrifice of the Mass used today instead of Eucharistic celebration? That's a Protestant thing. Or merely feast of the Mass. Christ offered himself on the cross to the extreme, offered himself bloody, and the holy sacrifice of the Mass is, after all, the renewal of Christ's offering on the cross. It is the greatest sacrifice. The sacrifice of the Holy Mass is treasured so little because it has lost its sacrificial character. Through the offering of the Mass, you bring God the worthiest sacrifice so that you can offer him your entire needs and dealings. Through nothing does one become so happy as through giving all of oneself united with Christ's sacrifice on the cross. Through Christ, the cross has become a sign of strength, of character, for love and loyalty. Love and loyalty until death. The cross is the sign of inner strength, and the carrying of the cross are steps on the path to inner strength. There are priests who only rarely offer Holy Mass on weekdays, and so many hunger for it so badly. Is this worthy of a priest? Often the complaint of believers. I no longer know if this Holy Mass is still valid. The way this or that man offers it is legitimate. But please, still go to Holy Mass and ask our loving Lord with all trust that he correct all that is invalid at the Holy Mass. He will, using hand sanitizer. I won't get into that. He will do it too, only with priests where you know for sure that they no longer complete the consecration ought you to stop participating. For if you no longer have the opportunity to go to a good Mass, then take yourself spiritually into a Holy Mass that is still offered legitimately. Have with you a good missal and pray the Mass where you are with all the priests who at that moment are offering Holy Mass. Always when you are unable to attend a Mass, you should in this way participate spiritually. But it is wrong to say that the present form of Holy Mass is not valid. If you only knew how much one single Holy Mass was worth, then even during work days, the churches would be at least half full. The good books explaining the sacrifice of the Mass by Father Martin von Kohem have been made unavailable. They have been purged. This is persecution of the Holy Mass from within the church. But today again, a good book is available, and it is Celebrate Mass with the Heart by Franciscan priest Father Slavko Barbarik, OFM. And when do so few attend weekday Holy Mass? Why do so few attend weekday Holy Mass? Because people are no longer conscious of its infinite value. Too little is explained, both in schools and sermons. A person will make great sacrifices for earthly things that soon disappear. But eternal values are cherished far too little, because one knows so little about them. Yes, even some religious orders have stepped away from weekday Mass. Many religious go on vacation without attending weekday Mass, even though they have the opportunity. Christ offers himself for us at every Mass, but so few are present to whom he can give these graces. A huge treasure is offered to you at Holy Mass. Jesus, his wounds, his life and his death, his precious blood. Treasures may not lie dormant. You must reach out for them and work with them. You must take the treasure of the precious blood and continuously bring it to the Father through Holy Mass as reparation for your sins, as the cost of the conversion and salvation of souls, and as a request for rich graces for the needs of the Church and of all men. Yes, if you knew the worth of one single Mass, you would offer everything to receive this grace. Every new step in the life of grace is a miracle of godly love and signifies a transformation for your soul. At every consecration, your past life is lifted to a higher level of graces, and then you live these higher graces. Take your sufferings and your prayers, your worries and your work, take everything into the sacrifice of the Holy Mass. At your death, all the Holy Masses that you attended in sincerity during your lives will be your greatest intercessors. Even with the strictness of God's justice, and even if your sins are ever so numerous and heavy as a mountain, next to God's justice stands His infinite mercy in the sacrifice of the Holy Mass. The many who think they have no time to go to Holy Mass during the week should try it and see if they cannot get along with their work as though they had never been to Holy Mass. As long as no duty is neglected, for duty comes first. That which the gospel does not promise, you may not promise either. And that is a life without a cross. The gospel without the cross belongs to heaven. Suffering without the gospel belongs to hell. And the gospel with suffering belongs here on earth. With the cross of suffering, we help the Lord save souls. Were you to know the value of one single Mass, you would give everything to save just one soul. For your soul, the Son of God became man and died on the cross, and for it He founded the Church. If you were able to see the beauty of a soul covered with graces, you too would be willing to die for a single soul. St. Francis of Assisi said, "Take everything from me, O Lord, just let me save souls." St. Gemma Galgani said, "I ask Jesus to give me crosses so that I can, through suffering, win souls for Him." Study the lives of the saints. From their teachings you can gain wisdom to see the value of a single soul. Yes, the saints belong in the lives of all people, in the houses of God's people. They have disappeared from so many churches. The saints are great models. They were people like you. They were your pathfinders, and for this reason they belong inside all of God's houses and not outside of them. If you walk in their steps, you can also achieve what they did. But before all else, honor the Blessed Mother again in your lives. Today she is pushed away by so many priests, and even her virginity is often questioned. Excuse me. A priest who turns away the Virgin Mary is no longer Catholic. I like that. And for this reason, so many have left the priesthood. We greet Mary in the litany. You, Mother, most worthy of love. Yes, Mother, not sister. See here your mother, is what Jesus said. Through Mary to Jesus, that is the surest way to God. It is a great bequest that Jesus gave us. This applies to every person. This should bring joy and consolation to everyone in all of life's situations. The word mother refreshes every broken courage. It is a word of security. Yes, she is the mother most worthy of love. Think now about the kindness she showed in her relationship with God and with all men. Politeness is a virtue and shows love for neighbor in its loveliest and finest form. But she was also the humblest of God's servants. That's why the devil hates her, by the way, her humility. Yes, all leaders of the church, all priests and bishops must again become humble to win back the trust of the faithful. Humble recognition of guilt receives forgiveness, grace, and mercy. Love and practice humility. The humbler a man is before God, the more God can make of him. God placed His graces in loving motherly hands. Mary, mother of all graces. What a loving, consoling thought. All graces that flow to us after Christ's death for salvation went through the hands of Mary. Her loving, gentle hands touched all graces that were ever received by men. With what reverence you must handle and stay loyal to these graces. Mary is mediatrix of all graces. What responsibility this fact carries. How much it should sadden us if ever a grace which has come through her hands is not received by us and must go back into Mary's hands. This is often the case today. With special reverence, you ought to think about every grace toward holiness that came to you with your holy baptism, and all others in this new supernatural life which also came to you through Mary. Through this, Mary became our real mother. She bore us for God as God's children, which we are. From this convincing position, Mary deserves, after God, our greatest honor, our deepest love, and our highest trust. She is for us the praying power who always listens to us and never turns anyone away. And that is true. Now, let me say that I do prefer the Latin Mass, but if you have to go to the Novus Ordo Mass, go. You will gain graces there as well. So don't not go. If that's all that's in your area, then go to the Novus Ordo. Just don't neglect the Mass and go to confession. So you're in a state of grace so you can receive communion. Now, you can't receive communion if you've committed a mortal sin. But venial sins, it's okay. But not a mortal sin. So try to go to confession. So anyway, I hope you like that. Again, that message is from the Holy Souls given to Maria Simma for us. And she used to talk to the Holy Souls. She's deceased now. She was Austrian. And she was very devoted to them. And of course, being devoted to the Holy Souls, well, that's a great devotion because they will help you. You will have an army to help you. You help them, they're going to help you. And you know, who doesn't need help and who wouldn't want help? And what we're doing really is helping our fellow men and women who have simply left the body. They've left the body and we're helping them. Okay? I offer all my communions. When I receive the Eucharist, I offer it always to the Holy Souls and others, but I give it to the Holy Souls, especially those who are close to my bloodline. Okay? My beloved dead. But I offer it to all the Holy Souls as well. I want them to gain graces from it and get out of purgatory as quickly as possible. Okay? Because I feel bad for them that they're there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day.